Well, I want to start this update with an apology because it's been so long since I last did a video diary update. And the reason is life has got in the way. We've had the Easter holidays here in the UK, and unfortunately we've had a little bit of a house fire. Well, it's more than a little bit. Look at these photos. This is my little home studio at the end of our garden, and as you can see, it's really burnt out. So I've had loads and loads of my time absorbed speaking to agents, and of course trying to keep on top of day-to-day life and work. So apologies for that, but the good news is it's exactly 6 weeks, well, pretty much 1 or 2 days since I had my surgery, and I saw my surgeon yesterday and he's really delighted with how it's gone. My scar, as you can see here, is looking really amazing at this stage. I've still got some inflammation in that knee, and particularly towards the back of the knee, as you can see. But the surgeon said this is perfectly normal. In fact, he was really delighted with the amount of flexion I've got in my knee, with the fact that my knee is now standing straight. This said, the physio exercises that I've been given, and I'm on my 2nd set now, are a lot tougher than the initial ones. You know, the initial ones were more about stretching and kind of just getting a little bit of movement into the knee. Now it's about, some of them, these leg lifts in particular, are really painful. It's about engaging your quads properly. It's about stretching your hamstring, about pulling up your leg. And I'll be honest, because it's painful, I haven't been brilliant at doing them every single day. Now, the surgeon yesterday said, despite that, delighted with your progress. Tomorrow, I see my physio again, and they may not be so happy with me. We'll just have to see. And I've got a feeling that if I'm really gonna see those recovery milestones, although I'm in a good place now, I really am gonna have to step up the physio. So the journey has been really good so far. I managed a couple of days away in Brighton with my wife and kids over the Easter break, and those days I was doing like 15,000 steps a day. Now I won't lie to you, when I got back, my knee was quite sore, but by the next morning I was ready to go again. And when I do get that kind of soreness in my knee, the first thing I turn to, as you know, is my Physiolab. And I thought today, because the Physiolab's going back this week, normally people get Physiolab for like the first couple of weeks after surgery, but I think a lot of my success, because I haven't done the physio that well, must be down to the fact the moment I've spotted inflammation or any discomfort, I haven't turned to paracetamol, I haven't turned to ibuprofen or any of the other drugs I've been prescribed. I've just put on the Physiolab and I've raised my leg, and it's really made a massive difference to my recovery. So I'm going to show you exactly my step-by-step process with the Physiolab in a moment, because I know what it's like. It's a minefield, right? You're looking at all the different products out there that offer this cryotherapy with a little bit of air pressure, and which one's the best? It's hard to know. So all I can do is tell you about my experience and show you the gadget that I used. But before I do that, I want to say the other thing that I think's been absolutely amazing, and I've mentioned it before, is this. It's called bio oil. That little bottle is about a tenner on Amazon, and you just put it on your scars, and I noticed very quickly a massive improvement in my scarring. So this thing is specifically designed for, well, it says on here, scars and stretch marks. So if you've got either of those things, I would recommend bio oil. But that's the general update of where I'm at. I'm not walking with a stick at all now. So 15,000 steps around Brighton, no problem, no stick. I walk every day at least 2 miles without a stick. I've got a slight limp, but it's nothing too serious. So progress is way above what I was anticipating. But that's a quick update. What I'm going to show you now is how that Physiolab actually works. So you'll remember before that all of my updates showed the Physiolab next to me in my bed in the spare room. Well, now I'm back in the lounge. This is in the lounge. I've got my TV in here, and this is the Physiolab machine. I'm going to show you how it works. The important thing is you want to be somewhere where you can really stretch out, get your legs up nice and straight, and just chill out, because the sessions take half an hour. Now, this particular machine starts with this cartridge. Now we're going to take this cartridge, you get these little ice packs that you can hire, it's an extra hire, that go inside this, and that's what provides the cold that makes this machine work so well. Okay, so the easiest bit is freezing the ice packs. Now these come from Physiolab, and you just keep them in your home freezer. You get 3 sets of them, you freeze them, and when you're ready to go, there's always one frozen. You just pick it up and head over to the sink. So you can see here, these are the packs that I've taken out. It's just basically like a, a bladder of fluid that you freeze, and it saves you having to get through bags upon bags of party ice or freezing loads and loads of ice. I keep them in the Physiolab bags because it just keeps them in their individual amounts quite neatly, and they come out as a big block like that, because however hard you try, they stick together, I find. So the solution to that is just to run a little bit of water over them to break them up a little bit. It keeps the cold in these ice packs, so it's perfectly effective. You get down to that really low temperature, but you can break them up without having to rip at them, they just break up really nicely. So that's the first thing to do when you get your packs out of the freezer. This whole process takes about 3 minutes. Then you get this cartridge. Now it's got like a big jam jar lid on it, and inside you just put these ice packs. Now, because I've run them very quickly under the hot tap, there's still loads of ice there, but they just pop in there any old way. And each of the 3 packs they provide is just enough to fit in here. So easily done. Next, you want to fill it up to this line. Don't want to go past that line, and I'll show you a little trick in a second. So yeah, it's as simple as kind of that. Okay, so now on with the lid, and this is the important bit. Can you see there's a little hole there? If you put your finger over that hole, it won't spill. Otherwise, I've had some incidents where you end up with a load of water. Now you've got that cartridge full of ice and water, you're draining off and drying the last pack ready to go back in the freezer. It's time to go back to your lounge and get that in your Physiolab. Okay, so in with the cartridge, handle up, then handle down. And now we're ready to go. But before I do that, I need to get my shorts on, put on the cuff around my knee, and then I'll show you how you fire up the system. So this is the cuff that you put over your knee. I'm not sure if there's a right way and a wrong way, but I always put it on so the attachment is my calf end rather than the thigh end. And then I flap that over the top, tuck it in pretty tight, and then this one comes over. I think it's got to be that way because it says Physiolab in the right direction. Just make sure there's no kinks in the hose, and then I stick a pillow under my leg just so that leg is very slightly elevated. Again, it just helps with any swelling or inflammation, and make sure that my cushions behind me are nice and comfy and that I've got something decent to watch on the telly. Now we can switch the Physiolab on and it will start the half-hour process. Okay, so what I've done here is I've obviously got the ice in, I've got this well connected, it's switched on. It's telling me not to reapply therapy within 1 hour. That's what it does say, that you can't use it more than once. And I promise you, when you're fresh out of surgery, you do want to use it more than once an hour. But yeah, you don't need to. So press play, confirm you've read the full user manual. Of course I have. And you can see here, it's set to knee because that's what I've been using. But look, it does all these different other things, but obviously needs the program I'm on. I don't want it on auto repeat. You can set it so every hour it automatically starts up again. But in my experience, you kind of really want to change the ice for each treatment anyway, because each treatment's at least an hour apart. It's now ready to go. I can press play. And off it goes. Now you can see here at the moment, it's saying it's a 30-minute treatment. The set temperature is 8 degrees and it's got a pressure of 25. I don't know what that is. And now it's doing its thing. So yeah, you can see on my leg, the cuff is now really inflated. So for the next half an hour, I've got this lovely soothing cuff on my leg and I can do little else other than elevate that knee and watch a bit of TV. So I'm gonna miss this. This thing goes back on Thursday and it's been absolutely brilliant. I know there's lots of other versions out there. Crikey, for the cost of rental of this thing, you can buy something on Amazon. But I just can't believe it's as good. The pressure from the air pressure and the cooling on this is absolutely superb. And I can only speak with personal experience that I really would recommend this product. Anyway, that's all for this update. This is going back on Thursday, as I say. So the next one will be fresh physio exercises because I'm seeing them tomorrow. And it will just be, you know, continuing my journey to full recovery, which I hope is going to be a lot quicker than I initially thought. Well, and finally, a little bonus thing here. This is exactly how the Physiolab arrives when you get it. I've just packed this up to return it. It comes in this special box. And I contacted Physiolab, said I'm packing it up, ready to send it home. And I told them that I was making this video. And they've actually given me a discount code. So if you look in the description and you want to use Physiolab as well, you're going to get it at a cut price.